Hi, beautiful. Do you remember your first love? I thought I'd remembered. I thought it was when I was 16 and I had met this man on the Greyhound bus, and we ended up having this torrid love affair one weekend. And he lived in Victoria, and I lived in Edmonton, and I went and visited him, and he would write me poetry. He was a poet. And that was my memory of my first love, which was beautiful. But this weekend, my fiance and I were reflecting on our childhood. We were doing some deep healing processes, and I had this amazing memory come up of my other first love, which was a lot younger. I was 12, and I had come through a really hard time. I had had a car accident, I think a year before the previous year, and had gotten this really big scar. Sometimes you can see it when there's sun and it comes out. It gets a little redder, but luckily it's mostly gone away. But I had just been in this accident. I had this like huge, like like it had stitches, so it looked like really gross. And I went back to school, and the movie Exorcist had just come out. And I remember arriving, walking across the parking lot, and just walking along the sidewalk to go to school. And these girls like saw me and just said, "Oh my God, you're the exorcist," or something really cruel. I had just been through this horrible accident where I'd gone unconscious, and I was, so nervous to go back to school as it was. And I was met with this like such cruel, horrible energy. And I actually ended up being ostracized, and no one would play with me. No one would talk with me. I was the exorcist kid. And I remember standing on the fence along the school, the playground, and that would be my recess time. And I remember in the classroom, there were like two other kids who were the outsiders. It was the fat girl, Michelle, the fat girl, and Barry, the weirdo. Like he had this nose that kind of was like a pig, and he was just like super hyper and crazy energy. And me, the three of us were kind of the oddballs, and that was a really rough time for me. And somehow, I don't remember how it happened, but I kind of moved out of that a little bit. And the following year in grade 6, um, this boy started to show some interest in me. He would chase me, or and he would play with us. The three of us, we would do goofy things together, like be really silly and goofy. And we started to develop like a connection. And then I went to a friend's birthday party, which was at a movie theater, and he ended up sitting next to me and holding my hand. And I just remember this incredible feeling of being chosen, and someone wanting to be with me and connecting with him. And it was just so sweet. And then I remember we had a like our classroom dance, and we danced close, and the teacher had to come and push us apart so we weren't so close together. Just a lot of these sweet memories, and just like him being really goofy, would push his stomach out like he was pregnant, and he would just be really goofy and playful. And he stood out as someone who didn't buy into the cliqueiness of that whole school thing, and just was himself, and was willing to be with me as I was and accept me for who I was. And it was so beautiful and healing to reconnect to that memory, and to get that was a really strong imprinting for me, that boy really showed up for me in a way that was accepting and fun and playful and authentic and sweet and kind. And yeah, it was really beautiful to connect to that memory, and to get like that set an imprinting of an experience of being with someone in that way. And unfortunately, since then, didn't have a lot of those experiences with men. I had a lot of experiences with men that weren't accepting and weren't supportive, and were very serious and heavy. And not loyal, you know, all these like challenging experiences with men. And there were some good ones, of course. But it definitely took a lot of failed relationships and unhealthy relationship patterns for me to come back to that place of really getting clear of what I really wanted in a relationship. And that young man, Jeffrey, kind of set the stage for that, set the stage for someone who chose me and was willing to be with me as I was and to be himself and to be together in this energy of kind of freedom from what the status quo was and to have just a sweet, simple connection with someone. And and that's what I have with my beloved. It's and we were I was sharing that with him, like that he represents a lot of those qualities that that young boy exemplified. And it's really beautiful to see that connection, to connect those threads, and to see the journey of traversing all the challenging ways of being with men that weren't healthy, that weren't honoring, that weren't respectful, but I couldn't be myself, that I didn't feel kindness, you know, all these different things that didn't fit that and made me, you know, I had to go through it to kind of get clear on like this isn't what I want. This isn't make me happy. This isn't happy. This isn't healthy. This isn't fulfilling. So that now that I have a relationship, that I'm in a relationship that is based on that foundation of acceptance and connection and playfulness and sweetness and authenticity, is just like I can really treasure that and just feel the blessing of that. And I've spoken to many, many women who've shared what's in their heart and what they desire. And it really comes down to this similar things, you know, that experience of being with someone who really gets you, who accepts who you are, and pulls out the best in you, right? We don't just settle. And that's one of the flaws, the things that the challenges that I think people fall into in relationship is they fall into a bit of apathy, you know, oh, someone's with me. I don't have to show up as my best self. And a true sacred relationship is where someone does inspire you to keep being your best self and to keep growing and working through whatever's in the way of opening yourself to being even a greater source of love and be able to receive deeper love and intimacy. And so I just wanted to share that with you because it was such a sweet memory. And hopefully that inspires you to reflect on what your first love was and the quality of that connection and the imprinting that that had and the lessons, the learning, the opening that that has created for you. And you know, the relationships that haven't worked is the opportunity to get clarity on what you do want. When you've experienced what you don't, you get to get clear on what you do want and take a stand for that. And that's some of the things I'll be addressing in my Love Mastery, Get Ready for Love Mastery class tomorrow, Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So if you want to delve deeper into that, the top 3 barriers that get in the way of attracting your beloved and how to overcome them. I'll be guiding you through some specific practices around that, like looking at those barriers and getting some deeper insight and clarity of your own and taking a step towards working through those barriers. And then I have a really exciting invitation that I'm going to be offering to you. So I hope you can join me for the Get Ready for Love mastery class, and you can register at the link there. Nope, there. Um, and even if you can't make it at that time, go ahead and register anyway, and then you'll get access to the recording. And it'd be wonderful to connect with you and to support you on your journey of getting more connected to what you truly want, what's in the way, so that you can open to and stand for having the relationship that your heart desires and knowing that it's so possible. And I have it. If I can work through all my stuff, which I had a lot to work through, so can you. Mwah.